You know what hurts the most? It's realizing you still think about someone who wasn't even good to you, someone who made you question your worth, someone who could walk away so easily while you're still carrying the pieces they broke. And you hate that they still live somewhere inside you, but you can't seem to shake them off, no matter how hard you try. And if that feeling lives in your chest right now, then this is your video. Because I'm going to tell you the real reason you still think about someone who was never good for you, and it has nothing to do with weakness and everything to do with how deeply your heart once believed in them. Some people leave long before they physically go, but the truth is, your mind doesn't register their absence the moment they leave. It registers the moments that made you feel alive, the moments that made you feel seen, even if those moments were rare, even if they were surrounded by hurt. And that's what makes this kind of pain so confusing, because you're not holding on to the person. You're holding on to the version of them your heart created when it was starving for love. You think about them because they reached you during a vulnerable season of your life. Maybe you were lonely. Maybe you were craving connection. Maybe you were carrying wounds that you never fully spoke about. And then they appeared with just enough warmth to make you believe they were different, and that belief felt like home, the kind of home you don't walk away from easily, even when that home keeps breaking you. The human heart doesn't fall in love with people. It falls in love with moments, with potential, with the flashes of tenderness that come in between their distance. You didn't fall for their coldness. You fell for the nights they held you tightly, the conversations that felt like truth, the ways they made you feel chosen for a few seconds before disappearing again. And when someone mixes comfort with chaos, your nervous system gets addicted to the unpredictability. And suddenly you're thinking about them long after they've gone, because your body is still waiting for the next high, the next apology, the next breadcrumb. That's the part people don't understand. When love feels inconsistent, it becomes chemical, neurological, addictive, and you're not missing the person. You're missing the intensity, the confusion, the emotional roller coaster that tricked your brain into believing that pain was passion, that chaos was chemistry, that anxiety was connection. But deep down, you know this isn't love. It's an unhealed wound trying to repeat itself. You don't think about them because they were special. You think about them because they touched your insecurities in the exact places where you needed reassurance. And instead of healing those insecurities, they deepened them. They made you feel small, confused, unsteady. But every once in a while, they made you feel everything you were missing in your life. And those moments became the memory your mind refuses to let go of. That's what keeps you stuck. Your brain replays the good moments because it's trying to protect you from the pain. It's trying to soothe the wounds they left behind. But your heart knows the truth that still hurts to admit. They were never good for you, and you know that. But knowing doesn't make the memories disappear. You think about them because you never got closure. You never got a real explanation. You never got the apology you deserved. They walked away as if you were easy to leave. They moved on as if you didn't matter. And that kind of ending doesn't just sting, it haunts you. It makes you question what was real and what wasn't. It makes you wonder if you imagined the connection, if you made them out to be more than they were, if the meaning existed only in your heart. And the part that hurts most is this. You didn't just lose them. You lost the version of yourself that tried so hard to be enough for them. You lost the softness you gave them, the patience, the hope, the effort. You lost the parts of you that kept believing that maybe this time it would work. Maybe this time they would show up. Maybe this time they would finally choose you. You're thinking about them because your heart is grieving the love you tried to give, not the love you received, because the truth is, you never received the love you deserved. You received attention, not affection. You received promises, not commitment. You received sparks, not fire. And it wasn't love, but you hoped it would become love, and hope is hard to bury. You still think about them because somewhere inside you, the story is unfinished, the lesson is unfinished, the healing is unfinished, And until you understand why your heart clung so tightly to someone who treated you so loosely, you will keep replaying them in your mind, not out of desire, but out of confusion, out of longing for closure, out of a deep need to make sense of something that never made sense. But here is where everything begins to change. When you finally see them without the filter of your loneliness, without the illusion your heart created, without the potential you kept painting on them, something inside you breaks in the right way. The fantasy dissolves, the truth becomes clear, and you finally understand that they were never the one. They were the wound, the mirror, the lesson, the reminder that you deserve more than inconsistent affection and half-hearted effort. You deserved someone who didn't make you beg for the bare minimum, someone who didn't confuse you into believing that love was earned through suffering, someone who didn't show up only when they needed comfort, someone who didn't treat your heart like a temporary home. And here's the part you'll eventually reach, and it will happen quietly, maybe on a random day, when you're not even thinking about healing. The day will come when you realize that thinking about them doesn't hurt anymore. The memories don't sting, the what-ifs don't matter, the longing fades, and your heart finally releases the story, because it no longer belongs to you. And when that happens, you understand that they were never the love you lost. They were the lesson that led you to the love you deserve. And in that moment, you stop looking back, because you're not that version of yourself anymore. You're not the person who settled for almost, who accepted confusion as affection, who tolerated inconsistency as if it were love. You are someone who finally knows that you deserve more. If you and I are anything alike, and you want to keep walking this path with me, then subscribe.